This is the book of Jasher. I like the book of Jasher. Joseph Smith, in the Teachings of the Prophet, page 261, says, the book of Jasher, which has not been disproved as a bad author. So when the book of Jasher was translated into English in 1840 in England, an article ran in the Millennial Times and Seasons, the Times and Seasons, saying the Lord will bring many things to light here in the last days. In 1887, the book of Jasher was published in Salt Lake City. So I like the book of Jasher. The Bible, as everyone knows, has had many translations, and Joseph Smith had to improve upon the Bible a number of times. So we like the Bible as far as it is translated correctly. I like the book of Jasher as far as it's translated correctly, but he's not been disproved as a bad author. The book of Jasher says that the Egyptians went to war with an army of 300,000. They were smitten and began to flee. They called upon the Israelites to assist them. 150 men came to their aid, and with the power of God, they smote the enemy. The Israelites killed 2,000, lost 0, and drove the enemy away. However, the Egyptians fled, leaving the Israelites to face the enemy alone. So the Israelites went out, and every Egyptian coward they find hiding in the bush, they killed them. About 200 of them perished. The counselors of Pharaoh and the elders looked around and they said, wait a minute, we have a problem here. They're a mighty people. If we're invaded, they may side with the invaders and we'll be defeated. We have to do something about this. So they decided we're going to build cities, treasure cities, and we're going to hire the Israelites to come and work for us. We'll have our people working there also, but eventually we'll remove our people. We'll just leave the Israelites. We'll pay them in the beginning, but eventually we won't pay them. We'll just make them work. And if they don't work, we'll beat them. That's exactly what they did. Every tribe of the Israelites went and worked for the Egyptians except the tribe of Levi. Okay, now, Pharaoh not only had his servants, he had Israeli officers. You know anything about World War II? Israeli officers helped round up Israelis, Jews, and put them in the ovens. You always have people who will work with the enemy against their own people. Always have individuals who work with the enemy against their own people for food, clothing, to live a little longer. Whatever it is, they'll do it. Individuals comply with evil totalitarian directives because 1, it's the law. 2, those are my orders. 3, I have to fulfill my quota. 4, if I don't do it, somebody else will. And 5, it's my job. Hannah Andrea, in evaluating Eichmann at the Eichmann trials in Israel after World War II. So that's what he came up with. I was just a bureaucrat following my orders, following the law. And then she wrote whole books on it, on that psychology, that philosophy. Now, the people of Egypt also bear culpability because they knew what was happening and they didn't protest. Maybe they remembered that Joseph, 400 years before, made them slaves. That to buy food, they sold their animals, their land, and themselves into bondage to their Pharaoh. Whatever the case may be, when the Israelites were left, the children of Israel borrowed of the Egyptians jewels of silver, jewels of gold, raiment. The Lord gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians so that they let them have, lent unto them such things as they required. They spoiled the Egyptians. And so Pharaoh sinned yet more and more, hardened his heart yet more and more. I know King James says God hardened his heart. God doesn't harden our heart. We do that all by ourselves. We don't need God's help. And they sent their army after the Egyptians. Like I said, about 3 million people. His army, 600 chariots, 50,000 horsemen, 200,000 footmen drowned in the sea. Thank you. We'll come back with Exodus part 2 in the future.